Hi! SeaTactics here with my first video actually on The Case Study of Vanitas, a highly underrated anime from Studio Bones, which may be one of their best anime in recent memory. Before the debut of the second part of Season 1, which is tomorrow, I thought it would be nice to give you a breakdown of the good, bad, and great of Case Study of Vanitas and why you need to be watching this series. Set in 19th century London, the Case Study of Vanitas follows Vanitas, the wielder of a mysterious book of the same name, which may be able to create curses which causes vampires to go rampant and berserk as a form of retribution against them. Noe is a vampire who's able to read memories through drinking the blood of his victims, and is tasked to follow Vanitas to learn about the mysteries of this book, but is barred from drinking Vanitas's blood. Along the way, Vanitas and Noe will meet such figures as the Hellfire Witch, Jeanne and her master Luca, Noe's childhood friend Dami, Lord Ruthven, the vampire lord who serves the queen, and many, many more. Also, I strongly encourage you guys throughout the video to comment down below what is your good, bad, and great for the case studies of Vanitas. So let's get right into it. Much like with my Mushoku Tensei video prior, it's very hard to say one good thing without saying that you could make an argument for it being in the great portion of this review. That being said, the case study of Vanitas has so many good elements that are all due to its amazing characterizations and the patented presentation methods of Studio Bones. For example, my favorite character in this series is quite easily Jeanne because of how great of a character she truly is. Called the Hellfire Witch, she is someone you don't mess with, as her name is known by many to be formidable. Though while she's an absolute unit, Jeanne as well is, well, shall we say, well, she's madly in love with Vanitas. Though I must admit, this show had me at first because I thought this would be some cliche romance between the two, but it's actually nothing of the sort at all. Vanitas immediately takes a liking to Jeanne, and to be fair, how could you not? He's literally down bad for this woman to the point where he lets her drink his blood as much as she likes, even though there is a possibility she could be a curse bearer, which, if you don't know, is a vampire that goes berserk and kills everyone they see as they go mad with bloodlust. Though Jeanne doesn't exactly like Vanitas as much as he likes her, and throughout the rest of the series tries her best to get this man to not like her. What's interesting about Vanitas is that we are to be believed that the only reason Vanitas likes her is just because, well, he can't have her. In other words, he likes a woman who plays hard to get, or in this case, impossible to get. So, what's Jeanne's idea in all this? Well, to ask him on a date and go all in on trying to essentially seduce him in the most polite and diabolical way possible. Here's the catch. Jeanne's an idiot and also can't read her own feelings one bit. What proceeds to happen is Vanitas for the whole date sweeping her off her feet effortlessly. And when I say effortlessly, it's like when you suck so bad at video games you have to choose the mode below easy. Yeah, Jeanne made it that easy for him, almost subconsciously giving herself away. Jeanne, like I said, she's an idiot, but we love her for that all the same. But this is an example of why I really just enjoy all of the characters, because Jeanne is a case in point where we can say she has multiple different attributes to her character. We are introduced to the Hellfire Witch, and by the end of the series, the Hellfire Witch is reduced to a love-struck puppy dog. There is much more there as well. Jeanne has never drank the blood of anyone else, but Vanitas, as she's deeply scared she will go berserk because of her doubts of being a curse bearer. We learn here that Jeanne is someone who cares about Luca as well, who she calls Master Luca, which I find absolutely adorable, who she protects and shows a deep affection for. We can see this in other characters as well, like Noe, who is a vampire that can see past memories through the victims of the blood he drinks. This is because he is a member of the Archivist clan, and due to his abilities and mission to study the secret powers of the Book of Vanitas, which may be able to create and cure curses, has a strange desire to drink Vanitas's blood. Though, there is a conflict here, as Vanitas has barred him from drinking his blood, as this would spill pretty much all the secrets of the Book of Vanitas, but as well Vanitas himself. Noe is another character I'm just supremely fascinated by throughout his own fascination with Vanitas. The relationship has a very strange dynamic where Noe seems to not like Vanitas, at first at least, but throughout the series, he obviously softens up to the guy and realizes there is something more to this man than what meets the eye. Through his curing of Amelia, second best girl by the way, his desire to cure and save vampires rather than destroy, or just simply his actions which make him more complicated as a person. Noe's growing friendship with Vanitas is one to see and experience, as it's so, to me at least, enthralling that it's almost subtle, because you never even notice because of the brilliant pacing anyways, until after you watch an episode. You're like, wow, that happened. So, first off, I don't believe there is a single bad thing about this series so far, and I truly believe that. As well, the reason I added this section to the video is for when I eventually cover a truly bad anime, I will still have to have a good section for that video. The belief here is that everything good cannot be perfect and everything bad cannot be totally bad, at least in terms of art. I feel there is some leeway here to discuss something bad, though. So with that being said, these criticisms are at best even lukewarm. It's like cold coffee. So with that out of the way and making my intentions clear, I think that the case studies of Vanitas' worst element by far is that the story almost plays second fiddle, and it's hard to explain, but don't get me wrong, this is absolutely to the series' advantage, as I genuinely find the characters more interesting than the story itself from time to time. That being said, herein lies the problem. Vanitas as a story should have a stronger presence in the plot, but I feel often doesn't. The Secrets of the Book of Vanitas is interesting, and a very good story to tell. I mean, it's a mysterious book. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? But I do sometimes wish that, at least with part 1, we had a slightly more focused plot thread, as while I adore every single thing about this series. I mean, I just talked to you at the top of the video. I had trouble coming up with stuff to put the good portion because I think it's all great. And then that's where I think the gap between part 1 and part 2 has in a way harmed the flow of this series, at least in the short term, because the reality is the story is incomplete until all 24 episodes have aired. So if there is any silver lining to this portion of the video, I do believe that the last half of this series will put a rest to at least this portion of the criticism and give us what we want in terms of the main plot. Whew, that was embarrassing. Honestly, I think what makes this series so great is Vanitas, the man himself. I know, pretty big shocker to say the main character is the best thing about an anime named after him. Well, the book at least. But Vanitas as a character easily is my favorite character, and while there are so many that are good, like Master Luca, Noe, and even Jeanne, who at times gives him for a run for his money, I mean, Vanitas is just the creme de la creme. The insert next French saying here, and he looks good while eating up the scenes he's in. I guess you could say this portion is really a culmination of everything I've stated previously thus far, though Vanitas is a product of good characterization, good writing, and as well, having a good sense of humor. You just know who Vanitas is down to a T by the second episode of the series and how he acts and presents himself. In many ways, I'd compare him to an Edward Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, though that may be due to Studio Bones' way of presenting humor, which, yes, it's actually in the exact same style as FMA and FMA Brotherhood, which I think is a big plus for this show, and a big selling factor, as it's freaking hilarious, like, at times. Well, no, scratch that, all the time. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but there is no surprise, especially from what I hear of fans of Jun Mochizuki, who previously created Pandora Hearts, a beloved manga series. Vanitas is witty, he can be purposefully crass, but as well, he has a genuine heart of gold that propels the plot forward, as well. Many people think the Book of Vanitas creates curses for vampires. It's Vanitas himself who makes sure to save the lives of vampires, something not often seen in this world. This conflict is a prime mover for the series' most interesting characters and plot threads, and that's a big reason why Vanitas is such a great character. He is the prime mover. His writing is just so good. I mean, one of my favorite aspects of Vanitas is how mysterious he is despite being so charismatic. Whether it be Noe, who is barred from drinking his blood, driving a further insatiable desire to know more and more about this man, or his relationships with Jeanne, where she finds herself falling hard harder and harder for Vanitas after each encounter. This man has a mysterious, attractive attribute to him, much like a vampire would, though he is in actuality just a human that inherited the name of Vanitas. Every little breadcrumb we get on Vanitas always feels like a goldmine of information that refreshes his character at least somewhat, and I think that's a massive appeal of his character. It's why Noe and Jeanne are so attracted to this man in so many different regards respectfully. Vanitas isn't great just because he's the main character. Vanitas is great because he's just as mysterious as the Book of Vanitas, and much like everyone who wants to know the secrets which lie within it, they may only get a glimpse, if any at all. Which is why I love characters so much here on this channel. Vanitas is a perfect example of someone I love to see develop, like a Gabby Braun from Attack on Titan, Tanjiro Kamado from Demon Slayer, or even Vladilena Milize from 86. So thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!